now more than ever is a really good opportunity to talk about Kairos, because these face-to-face meetings are not happening. They will not happen. They are going to ramp up their digital spends because they have to. For all intents and purposes, I think that trade shows will probably be canceled for the majority of this year. And so they have to either absorb that cost or reallocate those funds to reach clients in new ways to continue to qualify them. So I was reading this article and putting together this little presentation, and a lot of things kind of popped up that I thought were very interesting that we'll talk about through this through our time together today. So the first 45 minutes of this is going to be me talking about what I put together here today. The last part of it is going to be more group conversation. So if you have questions specifically for a slide, bring them up. But if you think it can wait until the end, let's go ahead and try that. All right. So first off, MQL. Everybody that we talk to is really concerned about the MQL. Hopefully you guys know what MQL is. MQL stands for Marketing Qualified Lead. Kairos is specifically built to collect and qualify marketing qualified leads. Now, a lot of times our clients right now are using marketing automation platforms within their companies, okay? This is on a small scale. This is account-based marketing on a small scale because they're using their own data set, which is pretty much inaccurate and wrong because sales, not to pick on you guys, but to pick on every salesperson in the planet, hates the CRM. They hate updating the CRM. The CRM oftentimes is the lifeblood of any account-based marketing program or marketing automation platform within their organization. What happens is a lot of this stuff lives in their emails and it lives in their heads, because adding one more step to add things into the CRM honestly is a pain in the ass. As a sales guy, I've always hated the process of having to build out every step along the way in a CRM. It is vitally important, though, to an organization, because when marketing is out there using these marketing automated platforms, and a lot of these, you'll hear them called, there's a couple big ones. There's Marketo, there's Pardot. You'll hear a lot of those. Those are the big Salesforce ones. HubSpot is a marketing automation platform. So what it does is essentially, it tracks all the emails that go out, all the clicks that are coming back, and being able to qualify them along the buyer's journey. But they're using their own database. So this is why our data set is so vitally important to Kairos. Our data set is validated in our 10 specialty areas, okay? So you guys can feel very good that we have full market coverage within our 10 specialties. If we find a gap, we go purchase that list. That is a validated list from our trusted partners. The problem with them internally is that nothing is ever put into the CRM. So email addresses could be wrong, phone numbers could be wrong, places where they work could be wrong. So they're basically talking to their known audiences, as if you will. Okay. So a marketing qualified lead is defined. It's a lead that a marketing team deems most likely to become an enterprise customer based on firmographic fit, company size, ad spend, role, etc., and behavioral story. These are the only leads we send over to sales to help them to be more focused and effective. I don't know throughout your guys' careers if you guys have received leads. Hopefully you guys have the blue bird every once in a while that comes in and you get it and they're like, hey, they're ready to pull the trigger and they're ready to go. When I was over at Fishbowl, we had a marketing staff, and marketing didn't quite understand what a marketing qualified lead was, because they would send over anyone that would visit our website, anyone that clicked on an email, anyone that received an email and opened it was to them a marketing qualified lead. Now, they do this for a couple reasons. One is they want to validate the actions that they're taking that are actually moving the needle so that they can appease finance and appease sales, right? Well, most of these people in marketing, they've never once done sales, so they don't understand what a real lead would look like for them. Another thing is that the way that the marketing automation platforms work within their organizations, they put the threshold so low when they're doing the scoring that what happens is everybody becomes a marketing qualified lead. And the problem with that is that sales, then it loses the luster when none of them actually turn out to be an actual lead. So something that Kairos does is it takes us from a marketing qualified lead to a sales qualified lead. It all lives in one ecosystem. So a sales qualified lead is defined as the following. An SQL is any lead that sales has accepted, reached out to based on company size, role, ad spend, page requirements, demo request, message, and booked an initial discovery meeting with. Now imagine if we handed over every if we said every person that clicks on an email from us is considered a lead in your eyes. That would be exhausting. That would make you guys chase your tails and be on wild goose chases. That's not what we want. We want to be able to hand over highly qualified leads to you guys so that you can chase the right people. Okay. Some of the stats that I thought were really interesting when I was pulling this thing together. 90% of MQLs are never converted to SQLs because they were falsely identified as MQLs too early in the buyer's journey. I think everybody has been on a phone call regarding Kairos. And the overarching theme that we have is that every client that we've talked to, regardless if they're a $10 billion company or a $10,000 company, they are content poor. Now, this is a great opportunity for us. It's a great opportunity because we have subject matter experts. We have library that is full of content that we're able to tap and use to fill in some of those gaps. And last is that our clients are looking for help to write content. Now, this is going to put extra strain on our editorial staff. I understand that. But the good news is that we're trusted within the industry as one of the go-to sources for that specialty of medicine. That's a pretty cool thing to be. And when everyone that we've talked to about, we have people available to create content for them that know the market, that know their prospects, and that know the topics that their prospects are interested in, has been very, very well received within everybody. Just to show, we've got one item right now. You guys have heard the word Thermo Fisher thrown around a lot right now from our in every press conference that our president and vice president have had. We're writing a piece right now for Thermo Fisher on STDs. Very sexy topic, I know, but they've come to us because Steve knows his stuff. And Steve has been able to use freelance help in order to get it into a place where all he has to do is refine it. We've also tapped a freelance graphic designer to turn that article into an infographic. So all of this is being used in the Kairos ecosystem, and their main goal is for marketing qualified leads. Our other client, 3M, we presented to them about 12 article ideas for them to move forward with, including plus 2 to 4 webinars, plus a new product that we have called Engage Plus. And they have signed on for a $48,000 commitment for Kairos for 6 months. But the great thing is they just signed a contract on Friday for a content package that is near $25,000 of additional spend just for us to create content. And this content for 3M, it's like the five tips for using aligners and brackets, because their whole product focus is their new aligner system. It's not going to take a horribly long time for Allison to write that up, but she knows that audience so well. And in that presentation, this is something for you guys to connect with your editors on. But in that presentation, the 2 slides that they hung there, that basically they had so many questions over in that presentation, was one, what topics are most interesting to our audiences? Basically, our audience is their audience, right? And that took 3 minutes for Allison to write out. And then the second one was, what types of content would you write around a certain topic? Specifically for us, it was around aligners, right? So they were really interested in that because that's data they don't have. We have a ton of expertise and a ton of data that our clients could actually really benefit from when we are putting together these Kairos systems or programs. Next, 2.5 times is the increase in MQLs with implementation of an account-based marketing program. Okay, 2.5 times an increase for an MQL through ABM programs. This is huge because when we're talking about ROI, unfortunately, print, we can't show a lot of ROI. It's really fuzzy math with print. It's always been that way, and it'll always be that way. But with digital, we can actually track every movement, every behavior, every person, every email, every click, where they're at in the process, which stage are they in the awareness, consideration, or intent stage. How do we move them further in the process? And we're able to act on all of that information and retool based on the data that we see. It's a very, very powerful tool for our clients, especially when you overlap that with the data set of the right person, the right message, the right time on the right channel. So this next step blew me away. 388% increase in MQL to SQL conversions by reducing friction and delivering a seamless experience for prospects through account-based marketing platforms. Okay, these are the stats we need to be talking to our contacts about, because they are being graded. They do have annual goals based on MQLs and SQLs, and with the right conversation with the right person, I know that we can get more interest in Kairos. So what does that mean? These are great stats, right? Blah, blah, blah. I get it. But one of the things that I was talking with Patrick about last week was cross-department selling. And the importance of cross-department selling. So in my old world, I was in technology, right? I was in restaurant technology. So I focused my attention on 4 audience sets. And this is essentially what we're doing when we're building Kairos programs, right? Is we're trying to understand specific audiences. We're trying to understand the topics of interest to those audiences. And then we're trying to solve any challenges that these people have with products that we have. So in my old world, remember, I was selling software to connect restaurants with the general public to be able to send insightful messages via email, text message, banner display, so that I could encourage them to come in one more time a month, whether that be an anniversary, a birthday, date night, Netflix and chill night, whatever it was, right? Those were the messages that we wanted to put in front of them because we knew their buying habits. We knew who they were from a demographic, psychographic standpoint, and we knew the types of products that they bought. So the people that I would work with within these, the obvious one is marketing, right? Because it's email, it's SMS, it's messaging, right? So that would be the obvious one that I would go to. But everybody calls marketing. Everyone. Anyone that had a new fork, a new app, a new widget, a new advertising idea, everybody calls marketing. They're probably the number one most bombarded part of any organization because they field all the phone calls. Okay, this is including you guys, right? You guys call marketing all the time. It's probably our number one people that make the most decisions within what we sell today, right? Because they carry the budgets. All right. So my second one that I would contact would be finance, because finance I knew had definite interest in being able to focus their spend on the right people, and I could show ROI on that. I could show, if I sent out a coupon via email, this is the person that got the email, and this is the code that's on the coupon, and it was redeemed at this restaurant. So I could show ROI of my programs. Okay, the next one would be operations, because what I was focusing on, definitely, if I had a buy one get one coupon go out to all Little Caesars restaurants, it was going to be an operational nightmare that they had to be aware of to be able to staff accordingly, get the message out to the system that this is what's going to be happening, this is how you take the coupon in, all of that stuff, right? So it affected operations. And the last one for me, I had technology. So the four that I had, because technology had to code in all the point of sale, right, at the POS. So I had marketing, finance, operations, and technology were my four people that I would talk to. Some things that I learned through that process. Nobody ever fucking calls finance. Finance gets no phone calls. They get phone calls from banks asking if they're interested in moving their accounts over to a new place or looking for lines of credit. But nobody ever calls finance. Okay, technology. Everybody wants to avoid technology at all costs because technology is where things go to die. And in operations just happy to be invited to the party. Everybody, operations and restaurants are like the red-headed stepchild. So I did this same exercise with Patrick, but I did it with through the lens of MedCore and our brands. And so we came up with three, okay? And so I wanted to talk a little bit high level because we're going to go through this exercise. You guys are going to go through this exercise individually after this phone call. And I'll send you this deck so you guys can take as many notes as you want. But let's talk about the three areas of focus that if it was me and I was running your sales territories, this is how I would focus my attention, especially for Kairos. Number one is marketing, right? These are the relationships we already have. There's budgets already set aside for digital marketing spend. They know us within the category. So when Roy calls Remware's marketing department, they know who Roy is because Roy has been their guy for a long time. Okay, so marketing. What does marketing care about? Right, marketing cares about the right spend. They want to make sure that they get recognized because it's really hard to show ROI when you're marketing. They want to make sure that they're using trusted partners. That the partners are going to execute effectively on their behalf, because at the end of the day, they're holding the ball, right? They're also looking for that consultant role, right? They know what they know. They don't know what they don't know. That's where they're looking for your guys' expertise and our editors' expertise about the types of topics that would resonate with their audiences. Right, the types of channels that we should focus on. How do we build a content map, a content journey map through Kairos that's going to be most effective? Okay, it's no longer about saying what do you want to do. You know, do you want to run an email? Right, they're looking for us to be the experts saying, listen. If it was me and this was my company and I had your marketing budget, here's how I'd spend it. And here are the topics that I would focus on, and here's the map that I would build out. Now, it's a lot of work, I get it. But they're looking for that consultative sale versus the order-taking sale. I'm not saying you guys do that or don't do it. I'm just going off my head. I've never sat on any of your sales calls, so I don't know. So speaking of what else marketing likes, right? There's a lot of things that marketing likes. Marketing likes to be innovative. Marketing likes to have as much taken off their plate as possible to be executed on, because they're running with razor thin budgets. Their budgets are constantly getting cut because they can't show ROI, right? All right, let's move on to the next one. We could go on for hours on all of these guys, right? So sales is the next one. Why does sales matter? Why does the sales department matter to people at MedCore? Well, because without sales, nothing, I think it was Dale Carnegie that said, nothing happens in a business without sales. And marketing and sales are always battling, if you will. We're going to get into these cross-channel and how to leverage this, but I'm going to digress because that's the next slide. So sales. What does sales care about? Sales loves bluebirds. Don't you guys love it when when an opportunity comes your way that you didn't even have to work at all and they're ready to spend money? So basically all I have to do is take an order. That's the best day ever as a sales guy. I wish they happened every day for all of us. It would be a great day. They care about being effective. They care about hitting their numbers, right? They care about they want to be consultative to their clients, but they need to make sure that they know what their clients are facing, right? The challenges that are in front of them. They want to, excuse me, they want to connect. These sales thrives on human connection, right? They want to be, they want to get the call when they have a question. That's kind of their thing. They love face-to-face meetings. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen now. So they want to be able to connect with people in new ways. So that's sales, and you guys know sales is a tough gig, man. I've done it almost all of my career, and it's great when things are good, right? When people are calling you to place orders, and you've got that one thing that everybody's got to have, things are good. Unfortunately, it doesn't always happen that way, and we need to be in front of our clients. So that we know what they're dealing with, right? And the other thing about sales that sucks is that every month you start back at zero. It's a cycle that never ends for sales. And the good news is that as hard as you work, usually is you reap the rewards from it. Unfortunately, it's about 90 days down the pike when you plant those seeds, right? All right, so let's talk about what finance. So this is finance. Remember, nobody calls finance. Finance is boring. But finance, most of the time, most people hate finance because when finance calls, it's never a good reason. It's always questioning a spend, telling you to cut, validating why you spent what you spent. But finance cares about a couple things, right? Finance cares that they are being responsible with their budgets and their money, spending it in ways that are going to affect the business. Finance cares about forecasting. Forecasting is super important for any financial department because this is how they invest back in their business. This is how they decide how many people they're going to hire or where they're going to put money as far as R&D, all of that kind of stuff. So finance is very important also. Okay. So unfortunately, okay. So this is made in a Venn diagram because every department touches everybody else, and they all have frustrations based on their interactions with each other. So anywhere that is a overlap, there is an interaction that can be good and can be bad. Most of the times, it's bad. Okay? So let's take marketing and sales, for example. Marketing thinks that a marketing qualified lead is defined as something else, and they hand it over to sales, and 9 times out of 10, based on our 90% of MQLs never become SQLs, 9 times out of 10, that lead is a shitty lead. It should not have been passed over because it wasn't properly vetted. That drives sales nuts because marketing is, in their eyes, is supposed to be softening the ground for sales to make more sales. And so when marketing passes over a lead that turns out to be not even in the ballpark of what a lead should be, it's a waste of time. And it actually makes you look more of an idiot when that happens. Marketing hates sales because sales are constantly taking credit for what marketing thinks they should be getting credit for, right? So Marketing goes to a trade show and they scan a badge and they scan over that. And remember, you guys have all been to trade shows. You know that when they're scanning badges, there is no rhyme, reason, or anything else of why they're scanning your badge. You are not qualified. They are in a numbers game. They are trying to scan as many badges as possible because that's how they validate their spend next year. Is that we saw an attendance of 6,000 people at our booth last year, finance. So that's why we need the money, because it was really highly effective. Well, no, it wasn't, because you scanned everybody's badge. You didn't scan specific people's badges to follow up on. So what happens? They hand all those marketing leads over to sales because they visited the booth, and sales ends up calling all these people, and they get halfway down the list or 25% down the list, and none of them are the right people. None of them have any need. And all of a sudden they go, I'm not even going to finish out this list. This doesn't even make any sense to me. So what happens is they don't even get to the people that are actually qualified. Okay. So marketing and sales, they've got a very tumultuous relationship. So what we want to do is we want to create ways that Kairos can help facilitate and unburden those that friction as much as possible. So we want to come up with stories about how marketing and sales are combined together by Kairos. Okay, same with finance. Finance hates sales because sales never, ever forecast, right? Sales, it's really hard to forecast. You guys know this. Forecasting is based on the trust of humans, and humans cannot be trusted. If you saw anything about this weekend in Nashville or in New Orleans, or the guys that are quarantined that decide that I don't need to do this, I'm just going to go out and live my life the way I want to live it. People cannot be trusted at their word or for anything, right? So especially their word. Their behaviors that we can track through Kairos, that's a different story. Remember, if we trusted people's words, Hillary Clinton would be president today. But people's actions showed different. People's actions showed, no, they're going to vote for Trump. They're just not going to say who they're going to vote for because it's the unpopular vote. So we have to help sales say, hey, I can help you more accurately predict your forecast, guys. I can give you guys more accurate topical interests so that you can connect with your consumer better. I can show you who is a highly qualified sales lead, and that who's going to close probably within the next 30, 60, 90, or 180 days based on where they're at in their buyer's journey. This is all very, very important, right? So back to sales and finance. What else does finance say about sales? Well, they seem to spend a lot of money, and they don't really get to show the ROI on that money, right? It takes money to make money. Forecasting is obviously the big one. I'm trying to think some of the other stuff. I'm looking at my notes here. Hold on just a second. Those are the main ones. And let's talk about finance and marketing. And this is all going to be different for your guys' organization or your businesses too, right? What they care about. Like for the small guys, I mean, Jody's clients maybe don't even have a whole finance department. Maybe it's just one guy. Maybe it's just the CEO and one sales guy. So finance and marketing, they're an interesting dichotomy because finance is always shrinking marketing budgets. Every year, you'll probably hear this from your clients every year. We have a smaller budget than we do last year, especially when it comes to print. Everybody's print budgets are always shrinking because they can't show ROI on it. So finance is always cutting their budgets. They're always asking for how is marketing being effective within the organization, right? What happens is marketing gives them very, very fuzzy math. But as we know, as a persona of a finance person, they're very black and white. There's very little gray for finance because they're dealing with numbers. It's either right or it's wrong, right? So we want to make sure that when we're bridging these gaps and having these conversations with finance, that we are giving examples of how Kairos can better solve the problems that they have between the departments that they have. For example, if I was to call finance today and talk to them about Kairos, the things I would bring up is say, hey, Mr. Finance, I have a lot of clients that actually look a lot like you guys. And I actually started the conversation within the finance department because one of the things that I commonly hear on CFOs in medical device organizations is they have a hard time finding the ROI in marketing. And it's very gray in these, they don't know, marketing can never validate or defend how they're spending the money and what it ended up in as business. I don't know if this ever happens to you, Mr. Financer, but I have a lot of clients that are looking for solutions to help mitigate that. I just happen to have one. It's called Kairos. Listen, I don't need an hour of your time today, but what I would like to do is get an hour of your time so that Dan and I can walk through Kairos and talk through how it affects marketing, sales, and finance for the better. Is that something that you would be interested in? You want to uncover that pain enough to get them to agree to the next meeting, right? We don't want to verbally throw up everything about Kairos in one phone call. That does nobody any good. What we want to do is take the largest problem that they have every day, and maybe it's 1, 2, or 3 problems, okay? Maybe there's not just one. And we want them to agree to the next step, which is a meeting. Okay, same with marketing. Marketing, listen, I bet sales beat you guys up saying that these leads that you guys turn over to them, they're just not qualified enough. And what happens is that you're only as good as your CRM, right? Well, our CRM, our data set is 7.5 million medical professionals. 500,000 of them are C-suite, and they're validated, and we have full market coverage in respiratory therapy. We're seeing a huge increase from MQL to SQL conversions to the tune of about 388%. I don't want to talk to you all about Kairos today, but if I could get an hour on your calendar, I'm sure that this is going to make a lot of sense to your organization, as it has for a lot of other organizations that look exactly like you. Okay, same with sales. Okay, these are the conversations that we need to be having within these departments, because we need someone to champion Kairos. We need someone to beat the drum, and we didn't ever once talk about budgets in any of these first conversations. We need to show them the financial impact that a program like Kairos will have on their organization. And in order to do that, we want to go into every meeting, every call with it's the old adage of how do you eat an elephant? Well, you eat the elephant one bite at a time. We don't want to look at how 5 steps down the line of how are we going to close them on Kairos. All we want them to do is take a 3-minute phone call from us to ask some questions to uncover the pain that they have, get a meeting for a hour long, 45 minute long. If it needs to be 30 minutes, hell, we can do 30 minutes. But what we need is to get a larger conversation to discuss what this looks like. Okay? They have to champion this within their organization. So let's talk about how do we get those meetings, okay? We've got voicemail. We've got email, okay? Too often times, and I'm guilty of this too, is we send a lot of emails because it's probably the most efficient way for us to connect. But what happens, just as it does in my email box and your email box, it sits there and it rots and it doesn't get any attention paid to it because another email came on top of it that was a little bit more important at the time, and it's never revisited. Okay, this is what I call email jail. Okay, you can send as many emails as you want, but they quickly just get ignored. Voicemail obviously is way more effective because if you leave the right voicemail, and I think that this has been helpful for Tim and Patrick, but too many times, what I call this is don't spill your candy in the lobby. Okay, too many times when we leave an email or a voicemail, we are giving away or spilling the candy in the lobby of the reasons we want to talk to them. Okay. We're salespeople. It's kind of a polite thing to do, right? At least in our minds, right? So we would leave messages like this. Hey, Don, it's Dan Barker with MedCore. Hope all is well. Hey, I'm just calling. We've got this really great new intelligence-based marketing platform called Kairos. It's able to put the right message in front of the right person at the right time on the right channel. I would love to talk to you a little bit more about that. Please give me a call back at this number. Thanks. Right? That's what we typically leave as a voicemail. But what happens is I just spilled all my candy in the lobby, and Don, there's no way Don's going to call me back. Don knows this is a sales call. Don needs to prioritize his time. And the last thing he's going to do is call and hear basically everything I just told him again on the phone. He knows exactly what Kairos is. So here's the new voicemail, and this is what Tim and Patrick are leaving now for their prospects. Here's the new voicemail I'd like for you guys to try over the next week and a half, 2 weeks. So I'll just use Don again. Beep. Don. Hi, it's Dan Barker. Hey, will you give me a call when you have a minute? I had a question for you. I think that you can help me answer it. If not, at least you'll know who I should talk to within the organization. My number is 913-634-1439. Number again, 913-634-1439. Thanks, Don. Bye. Click. Okay. Don has no idea why I called him. Okay. He knows I have a question for him. And the human brain works this way. Don doesn't know if I'm calling to ask him a question about him joining the MedCore team, him being interviewed by an editor, him, it may be a sales call. I also said it's only going to take a second. It's only going to take less than 3 minutes for us to talk. So I know that I'm not going to get stuck on the phone with him for a long time. So, and he also said, I also gave them a way out. So if he doesn't know, he knows somebody that will know. And as a human, we are innately, we want to be helpful to people. Okay, that's what our focus is. So imagine doing that to finance. It's the same voicemail every time, and I know this works. So here's a personal story. So I helped a not-for-profit organization get autographed basketballs one year for an auction, and so I left that same voicemail for college basketball coaches across the country. There's three that were really high on my list. Roy Williams, he called me back. Bill Self called me back. And then I also got a call back from a very, very angry Bobby Knight. He was at Texas Tech at the time. And Bobby Knight called and ripped me a new asshole because he said I left him a cryptic message like he knew who I was. And then I had a question. He did not like it. I think he respected it at the end because we got an autographed basketball from Bobby Knight. But what it did is it caused them to take action. Now, the other thing, when you leave that voicemail, you have to know what the next step is. So you have to anticipate what is the ask when they call me back. Because the chances are I have about a 70% callback rate with that voicemail. Chances are they're going to call you back. And then what are you going to ask for next? Okay. Remember, you said it's only going to be 3 minutes. So you're going to have to keep it to 3 minutes. So here's my recommendation. When you guys, remember, you eat an elephant one bite at a time. So what is the end goal? The end goal is to get 30 minutes to an hour to talk through Kairos in detail with this individual. Okay. So if somebody from finance calls me back, the thing that I'm going to mention to them is say, listen, thanks for calling me back. I have this product that, I've been working with other finance departments with because they have had an issue on sales forecasting accurately and being able to track marketing spend and what it returns back as far as ROI. I don't know, Mr. Prospect, if that's something that you guys have any problem with within your organization. And then you just shut up because they'll talk. People hate silence. They'll fill the air with as many words until they feel comfortable that you're going to say something. And chances are they're going to say, we actually do have that same issue. It's every organization I've been a part of. I appreciate that answer. We have a product called Kairos, and Kairos is a digital. It's account-based marketing on steroids. But it's turning over leads from MQLs to SQLs at a clip of about 388%. Using those kind of statistics, and then saying, Mr. Financer, hey, I don't know if it makes sense, but could I grab 45 minutes to an hour of your time just to give you a deeper dive into Kairos and kind of what it solves for each department and how it's being integrated within organizations across healthcare right now. Is that something that we could schedule? And then they'll say yes or no. Okay. And here's the deal. Most of us will say, great. Will you send me your availability via email? We'll set it up. That's where too many things go wrong. Okay. This is where Bam Fam comes in. Bam Fam is book a meeting from a meeting. And I hope that you guys practice this every day already. If you don't, you should. Bam Fam changes the way that you will do business. It's changed the way that I've done business. So when I have them on the phone, it is great. Can you open up your calendar and we'll find a mutually agreed upon time where we can all work together. Now, listen, I know my calendar is kooky, but I will make it work. I think I've only not made 2 Kairos presentations work, and that was one because I had a meeting with Brian and one because I was at a school program for my daughter. Everything else, I'll make work. So, Bam Fam, book a meeting from a meeting, every meeting moving forward, because you want to get them to agree to the next step, right? So for that first call, we want to get a Kairos presentation, right? From that next call, we want them to agree that they're going to champion this, and that, hey, do you think that we should pull in sales and marketing into this conversation? Because typically that looks like what the next step is. Yeah, well, let's do that. Great. Can you open up the calendar and add the people that you need to on there and tell me what's available? I've got the next 2 weeks fairly wide open. I'll just set it up and we'll go from there. How does that sound? Great. You book the meeting from that meeting. This is how we're going to get mass adoption of this platform. There is no better time than right now to connect with these people, because right now the world is very uncertain. How am I going to hit my sales numbers next year? If I'm a finance guy, how the hell am I going to cut without impacting the business, impacting sales? How am I going to increase sales in this time of uncertainty? Marketing's going, my budget is all but screwed. I know that my budget's going to get cut on marketing. First place they cut is marketing. So how can I better spend my dollars as a marketer? These are the conversations we need to be having with our clients right now. So my challenge to you guys is I want you to draw this Venn diagram, and anywhere that it overlaps, I want you to write out what their challenges are cross-departmentally. Okay? What do they love as people? What does a marketer love as people? Right? They love being recognized. What do they fear? They fear failure. This is just normal people things. But really dive deep into their psyche and say, if I could solve anything for these people, what could I solve with Kairos? Well, marketing. Right now, I know they're scared to death on their marketing spend. What if I don't know who said it. I need to look it up. But somebody said, I know for a fact 50% of my dollars I spend in marketing are a waste of money. The problem is I don't know which 50% it is. Well, with Kairos, I can show you which 50% it is. I can show you that all of your spend is specifically focused on that right person. So let's go through this exercise. I think that you guys will learn a lot about what your prospects are interested in what they're facing every day. And right now, they're facing things today that they didn't face a week ago or 2 weeks ago. This is the time where we need to step up to the plate for our clients and be that consultative seller. We need to tell them, this is how you need to be spending your money. It's the responsible way to be spending your money. This is how your current clients or how your prospects are going to be ingesting content right now. There was a really interesting quote I saw on, it was out of Italy. Now, we know Italy's on fire right now, and things are not good there. But one of the things that popped up was, it said, there are no longer specialty doctors. We're only doctors. We're all fighting to save the lives of people right now. Now, that changes the way you think about everything, right? No longer does the podiatrist care about what's going on with your feet. They care about just trying to save lives of people that are really sick. Where they're going to be doing their research now is not going to be in conversations with salespeople. They're going to be turning this over to buyers groups. They're going to be turning this over to other people so that they can focus their attention where the attention is needed. And so right now is a really, really, really good time to be creating this content, because content takes time to create. We've got 30-day window right now to create for 3M. We're creating a lot of content, and we've got 30 days to create the articles. We've got 30 days to 45 days to create Engage Plus. And so our hope, our plan, is that this only lasts between a month and 2 months, and so we can hit the ground running back when this thing calms down with a lot of great content. This is how your client should be preparing right now. And when we have these conversations, this is going to be a welcomed conversation, in my opinion. This is something that is innovative, that is new. If we frame it in the right way, this can change the way that they do business and track sales, MQLs, SQLs, financial. This is a really big opportunity for us, but it's going to take getting out behind email and focusing our conversations in voicemail and on the phone. I know you guys probably already do this already, but I think right now more than ever, it's a really good time to hit the phones, because the seeds that we sowed today in the next 30, 60, 90 days is when they're going to be ready to harvest. And I know for a fact, based on everyone that we've talked to regarding Kairos, there has not been a single brand that we have talked to that has not been excited about Kairos. Now, the timing hasn't been right, and we probably haven't been organized as an organization enough to say this is the next step to get them down the funnel. That's changing. Okay, I'm working on that during my quarantine right now. So here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to build your plan. Okay, I want you to take the next 2 days. I want you to build your plan. Not just, I want you to build out your scripts. We're gonna practice a little bit on these voicemails. It takes a little bit use. You guys are in your own. You guys have left millions of voicemails. You guys kind of have a repertoire, I'm sure. We're gonna practice this new script for voicemail. We're gonna do the callback script on if I'm a salesperson, a marketing person, or a finance person. I want to know who you're going to focus your attention on, because I know every one of us that's not true. I don't know this. My guess is our focus has been primarily on marketing departments. I don't know if we've ever talked to finance, and I don't know if we've ever talked to the CRO or VP of sales. Okay, I don't know that. But this is the time where we're going to start figuring out who these people are, putting them in our database, being able to market to them with specific messages from our Kairos platform. We're going to be using Kairos to be executing the right message to the right person at the right time. Okay, so we will be enacting this ASAP. So my goal is, and I was planning on being off this week. Okay, so luckily for me, I've got some time. We're going to go to the lake. So I want to share plans on Wednesday. That's my goal, is to share plans on Wednesday. All right. I've done a lot of talking. Time is it? 11:22. Let's hear from you guys. I said 40 40 to 45 minutes. I'm right in that window, I think.
I mean, I guess my question would be when build your plan. What, are you looking at X number of accounts you want us to give you in terms of being a focus, or are you just talking about let's get some scripts together? I just want to make sure I understand what you need from us.
Whatever it means for you to plan. I'm not going to sit here and dictate that I need to see X, Y, and Z. But in order for this to be successful, we need to know the who, we need to know the what, we need to know the why. We need to know all of that stuff. The who, what, when, where, why, how. Okay? I don't care how you present it. I do not care. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. I'm just going to tell you what you need to do. What you need to do is create a script on and how do you eat the elephant, right? Each path along the way. How are you going to work this into your day, your scripts, who you're going to be talking to? How are you going to uncover the right people to talk to, right? LinkedIn is a great opportunity. Most of these people are now quarantined and working from home. Okay, well, how am I going to focus my attention? Because I know they're going to be getting their voicemail, because everything is going to be voicemail now unless they transfer their phones to their cell lines. So, yeah, there's a lot of thinking that has to go into this. But I want you to, Patrickize this and Royize this and Timize this as much as it fits into who you are as a person, right? As your personalities are all different. But I know that if you don't plan, you're planning to fail. So I know that if we don't put a plan in place, that we can't execute it. And this is not something that you can just shoot from the hip on. And this may also uncover things that you need from me. Okay? And that's okay. You don't have to do this in a vacuum. There may be things that you just say, hey, how would you handle this? Hey, I need a white paper on this. I need your deck to say this. Okay, tell me. I'm reworking the deck right now. I've got a few new slides in there that are going to be specifically focused on sales and finance. Right now, our deck is primarily focused on marketing. So that's what I'm working on right now also. I've got my own scripts that I'm working on for the presentation with questions, pain identifying questions. So it's a lot less me talking and more them talking. And this is not for you. I mean, I'm sure that there's been eye rolls and stuff through this. I get it. I've been on that side too. But this is meant more to get a system in place. Get a system in place that you're comfortable with, that we can scale. Because right now, obviously, we've never seen anything like where we're at today. We've got a lot of scared people. And Kairos can solve a lot of these issues. And think about it in terms of, if we could ramp up the spend of the use of freelancers on our side, that's helping some people that need money right now, that need jobs. Like there's a lot of trickle down here that we can do, but we've got to be that expert to our prospects and our clients. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for leaders, and we can be that leader for their organization as far as how would I spend that money, especially from I mean, you guys know that all of these conferences are getting canceled, so they have this money. Now, do they reallocate the money or do they save the money? That's the big question marks right now. We need to give them reasons to reallocate the money to digital. What else, guys? Oh, come on.
I mean, I think, you kind of, some stats, and I know these are kind of embedded in the presentation, but I think, just kind of, trying to find it in one spot. just so that, when we're talking to people and we can help build, that might be, I mean, that's just kind of how I work. I guess I could build that myself. But I think, just getting comfortable with the stats and what to throw back at people, when we are on the phone, I think that's probably, to me, the thing I want to try to get most comfortable with as quickly as possible, because I want it to be natural.
Yep. You want it to be natural, for sure. And the other thing is that, this also goes to, this doesn't have to be perfect, guys. Actually, I hope it's not perfect. I hope that you guys feel as comfortable enough where you go, you know what do I have to lose? And they're not gonna not. If I don't ask for Kairos, they're not gonna spend with Kairos either way. But if I ask for it, even if they say no, at least they know what we're doing, right? And so I think that right now it doesn't have to be perfect, guys. We just have to do the actions, and the actions get easier every time you do it. And we've got to get off behind email. I think that is I know it's a very effective channel once conversations have started. It is damn near impossible to start a conversation for email. It just doesn't happen. There's just too much noise out there as far as email goes. Roy, what's on your mind? You've been quiet.
Yeah. I don't know, just juggling all the shit in the world and all the shit that's on my plate, that's all.
I get it.
I mean, it was funny because I just got an email now as we're talking saying that one of my trade shows in May has just been canceled, and so now my head is spinning even more. So it's like, Jesus Christ.
Right. So this is the perfect opportunity because your head is spinning. Every one of these marketers are spinning their heads too, going, okay, now what the fuck are we going to do? Finance is doing the same thing. Now what the fuck are we going to do? Sales is doing the same thing. Oh, what are we going to do? This is where we need to call and say, hey, I have a better mousetrap, guys. I've got something that you guys need. Probably more than ever right now. But we have to believe that too, guys. This isn't, if you don't believe it, then they're not going to believe it either. I tell you, in my heart of hearts, this is the best mousetrap for any of our clients right now. Any of them. And it doesn't have to be a huge spend, okay? It doesn't have to be a huge spend. If they're just looking for awareness, they can spend $3,000 to $5,000 a month with us. If they're looking for leads, it's going to be closer to $8,000 a month. Good news is we can make deals too with people, okay? We're open for business. Let's do what we can to secure as much revenue as possible, and that if it comes down to having a discount, that's a Don decision. We'll go to Don and we can make that decision. But let's get people on the hook and get excited about it. Tim, you've been quiet. Any thoughts from you? I know we talked about this last week. Sorry, you had to go through it again.
Well, it's great to go through it again and further dive into all the what we're trying to accomplish. This is a perfect time with these trade shows all been canceling. I see this as a great opportunity to get in front of these people. I think the only thing that is the stumbling block is the voicemail email thing, and people love to hide behind that. Hide behind both. There's no guarantee that they'd be reply back to both. But I think if done properly, we can. And not to be. I don't want to get to a point where we're a pest, but we need to. I think these short emails, short voicemails, short emails could be the key.
Exactly.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Yep. And Jody, I don't know, is Jody on? Jody and I had a powwow last week because we had offered up a Kairos campaign to a client that had sat. And so we did the takeaway tour. We did the takeaway on him and just said, hey, you know what? We went out on a limb and discounted this. And you've made us, Jody said, you made me look like a real ass because you have done nothing. So I'm giving you till Wednesday to pull the trigger on this. And if you don't, then I'm giving this to somebody else. Not more than 3 minutes later, the guy wrote back, no, I'm totally in. Call me on Monday. It's simple sales stuff, but it works. Like, these people have to have urgency on this stuff. We have to create the urgency on it. Right now, they actually have a lot of urgency to get their message out there to the right people because the channels that they're able to do it on are becoming less and less. Their sales team is going to become very, very ineffective over the next 90 days. They're going to have to do things the unconventional way. And this is a perfect disruptor. Perfect. Okay. All right. It's 11:30. I'll let you guys jump off. I really appreciate everybody's time today. Like I said again, these uncertain times, if you guys have questions, if you guys feel ill, if somebody gets sick of your family, call Don, call myself. We're here for you guys. We'll do everything we can to make this quarantine the best possible quarantine possible. Okay.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, we really do love you guys. Keep safe distances from everybody. What else, Patrick?
I was just going to say, I think, it's a great time and opportunity right now to work on this, because there is going to be a little bit of a collective lull as everybody tries to absorb what's happening. But if we come to people with a solution and, as you said, create urgency, I think we'll have people that are going to be willing to listen to us. And I think our conversion rate's pretty high once people take a seat at the table and see what this is.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think right now, if it was my business to run, like your guys' like businesses to run, I would really be focusing on these voicemails and getting these conversations started with the urgency of, hey, listen, I get it. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, but what I know is that you can't continue to waste money in advertising that are not in your marketing departments that are not producing highly qualified MQLs that move over to SQLs. I guarantee everyone on the planet is going to shake their head or nod their head and say, yes, we are 100% in agreement. We cannot waste our money any longer. Okay. That's the first step. Okay. All right. I will set time up. Do you guys, real quick, do you guys want to share these plans together on Wednesday, or would you rather do it one-on-one?
I'm thinking one-on-one, and then maybe later you can share the best ones.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that. I'll set time on Wednesday, guys.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.